All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto. It is October 2nd, 2023, 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So in today's content, I will discuss about BTC. We'll talk about BTC on the macro scale and all that good stuff on the quarterly time frame all the way down to the weekly time frame. And possibly we'll talk about BTC on the 3D and daily if we have enough time, all right? So give me a 589 if the sound is good, right? So I won't be talking for for 20 minutes without a sound, right, Leroy? So we got Mr. Shu in the house, 589. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We got Pablo Crypto in the house, Pablo S Crypto in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Aladino, thanks a lot for tuning in. We got Tails in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in, right? So now let's go ahead and dive into the analysis. We're not going to waste any time today, right? So we'll start off with the quarterly time frame, right? So let's start off with the quarterly basis. All right. So when we take a look at BTC on the quarterly time frame, I've been saying it for the longest since like 2021 Q4 2021, right? Before the initial drop. And if you take a look at it after the initial rejection on the quarterly basis, like the last quarter of 2021 when we picked at 69k, I was saying like, most likely bulls, okay, or even bears, right, will not let the candle close red, because if the candle right here closed red back then, it would have been creating a lot of panics and people going to be panicking and all that good stuff, and the price could have basically dumped much quicker down to the quarterly 21 EMA. However, bulls managed to get the candle right, and we only got like two quarterly cycle, okay, of bearishness, okay. Even though we've been dumping like for the entire 2022, we only had like big dump, right, on a quarterly basis, right? And the first dump on the quarterly time frame, that was the first quarter of 2022, and we got a big push back up in the second quarter of 2022. That's when I was saying, we could be dropping all the way down to the quarterly 21 EMA. So the quarterly 21 EMA on a quarterly basis is going to be the main reference point, if you're a macro investor, right? I'm not talking about like the 15-second charts of BTC dropping down from, 10%, 5%, or even 20%, right? But if you just want to focus on like, let's say the next 12 to 18 months, this is the right time to be to be extremely bullish. It is the right time to be accumulating at the same time, right? So what I mean by that, right, you can see like the quarterly 21 EMA, whenever we retest it, we tend to bottom, right? Right here we retested it at the end of the bear market, but right here we retested it like early in a bear market, meaning like 2 quarters within the bear market, we dump down to our quarterly 21 EMA, and it makes perfect sense, right? If you go back in, let's say 2015 to up to a 2020 bull run, 20k area, right? Let's say $200 to $20,000, right? It was a 100x move, right? But the move we had right here was not a 100x move, so it makes sense if we go if we retrace, right, we will retrace much sooner down to the quarterly 21 EMA, and most likely it'll be the same way, right, in the next like a bear market. We'll basically dump to the quarterly 21 EMA, possibly like in 1 quarter, or like a no more than 3 quarters and all that good, stuff, right? So as a reference point, the quarterly 21 EMA going to be for the next like 2 to 3 months, going to be the reference point for the macro investors, right? So if you're trading the 15-second charts, you don't want to be taking a look at the quarterly 21 EMA and all that good stuff, right? As of now, the quarterly 21, it is just about like a 23.5, give or take, right? So that's going to be the macro macro support. Could we drop below it? Yes, price action can drop below it, but will we see like a 2 quarters, 3 quarters below the quarterly 21 EMA? That probability is very low. Okay, it is very, we do have a very low probability to see BTC closing 2 to 3 quarters below the quarterly 21 EMA, right? And on the macro scale, we're looking for, like, let's say potentially 150 to 180K. So anything at or below 23K within the next like a 2 to 3 months going to be definitely some good range, right, to be accumulating at, right? So that's the only thing we need to know on the quarterly. The quarterly MACD is not going to give us enough reference, right? It's not going to be a good reference point because it is going to be moving very slow. We don't have enough data to be following the quarterly quarterly MACD. But at some point down the road, we could get a divergence, right? Let's say within the next like a few months, we could get a divergence like that, and that could signal on a quarterly basis our top formation. But that's going to be like within the next, like, let's say 4 to 6 quarters, right? Within the next like a 12 to 18 months, we'll see if we're going to get some sort of divergences, right? And the quarterly RSI also, we're just not sure because BTC doesn't have enough history, right? We're just not sure if BTC will follow this trend line right here, right? Because we don't know. Okay, we did have a divergence based on the two previous bull market picks, 20K and 70K and all that good stuff, Leroy, right? We did have a nice divergence right here, but we don't know yet, right, if BTC will print a fresh new bull market pick based on what the RSI. Okay, we just don't know that, right? So we will just follow the trend line. If we hit it, that could be a resistance. We don't know, right? But if we don't, we're most likely going to hit it. I don't think like BTC will just do something like that. That's my own opinion, right? But we will see. I don't think it'll do something like that. We're most likely going to retest the trend line. If we don't, we could use another indicator to try to gauge the top formation and all that good stuff, right? So in terms of like a percent distance from the quarterly 21 EMA, that's what you're seeing right here. This indicator basically just telling you like how far are you away from your 21 EMA, regardless of the time frame you're using. For instance, I'm using right now the quarterly time frame. So your zero line, this red line right here, Leroy, that shows 21 EMA on the chart, right? So as of now, it is sounding like we minus, for some reason, it is sounding like we minus 1% because it is lagging, but we're still above the quarterly 21 EMA. But the takeaway is like when we above the zero line, we tend to go parabolic. For instance, right here, right, we went parabolic. Right there, we went parabolic, right? Right here, we pushed it upside, retested it, and went parabolic. So we most likely within the next like a few months see some type of parabolicness, right, regarding the this indicator. So it is something to keep an eye on, if you if you're following BTC on the macro level and all that good stuff, right? So it is called like a percent distance from the EMA, all right? So it means like how far price is above or below your 21 EMA on your quarterly, on your monthly, weekly, and all that good stuff, right? Especially on the monthly basis. It is very, very important if you take a look at it on the monthly basis. As I talked about it before, and I started to pay attention to the monthly RSI and this indicator over the last few months. And you can see like, if you take a look at it on a monthly basis, that show percent distance, right, away from your 21 EMA. So your zero line, that's the red line, the red horizontal line, right, not the vertical one. So you can see the bull market we had back in 2015 right there. As long as we consolidated below our 21 EMA, that's why I've been saying over the last few months, guys, even before the bear market started, if you see BTC 50% below its monthly 21 EMA, just know like you're buying it extremely cheap. It might not be the bottom. It could drop like 60% below the monthly 21 EMA. However, 50%, 40% below the monthly 21 EMA, you're most likely going to make some great profits in the next like a bull run. Okay, so if you accumulated BTC anywhere around like a 15 to 20K, you got 85-90% chance of buying BTC at the bottom. And we've been saying this, back in November 2022, right? So you can see like right here back in 2015, we were consolidating below the zero line, and as you can see, as soon as we pushed it upside, we printed this pattern. Okay, it looks like a double top, double bottom, and we're going to take a look at it right here. It looks like what we're creating right here, and then basically push all the way up to like, let's say 256% right there. So this area was like 250% above the monthly 220 EMA, right? So how do you know it? You can just take your basically take your measure move right here, right? And you can measure it right there, right? Just by like a 250-260% above your monthly 21 EMA. So if we go back to this indicator, you can see in 2021, price action was just about like 188% above the monthly 21 EMA, which is your zero line, right? So does it mean we will basically be following this trend, right? Because as I said in my premium group, I don't want to count this one, right? Because let's see, that was on a quarterly basis. We were still above. Yeah, you can basically add this one to it because we did have a monthly 21 right here, right? But it is not a straight line, right? It is not really a straight line, because if you take a look at it right there, we broke the trend line. So as of now, you could use this one, right? Something like that, but we could also break it. Okay, so we could definitely see BTC, being like 100 and let's say 150%, or even like 175%, or even like a 200% above its monthly 220 EMA over the next like a few months. Okay, especially after the halving and all that good stuff. When it comes to the quarterly time frame, right, I don't expect us to go all the way up to like, let's say 250% above the quarterly above the quarterly 21 EMA, right? Because of the diminishing return. And we just talked about it, right there, it took like 4 quarters to retest the quarterly 21 EMA. And right here, it only took like 3 quarters, okay, actually 2 quarters to retest the quarterly 21 EMA. So you can see the diminishing return. So I don't expect us to go like 400% above the quarterly 21 EMA, right? But anyway, between like 150, 180%, right, could be considered very, very or highly overvalued. Okay, so for instance, if the quarterly 21 EMA is somewhere around like within the next like a few months, right? Let's say the quarterly 21 EMA is around like a 60K. We could be somewhere around like 150, right? 180. But I don't expect us to be 300% above the quarterly 21 EMA and all that good stuff, right? So now let's go back to the monthly time frame, right? So the next indicator, it is going to be our monthly RSI. The monthly RSI looks pretty juicy, right? You might be like, saying, why we are so bullish? So the monthly RSI, it is still pretty bullish, okay? And we said it right here back in August, right? 2022, right? September 2022. If you've been watching my analysis, I've been saying, hey guys, whenever we retest like anywhere below 40 on the RSI, I think 40, 43 area, right? You tend to be in a macro accumulation. You just don't know when the bottom going to be exactly, right? So, but you got a high probability chance of buying within the bottom range, right? So that's why I was saying right here, BTC was 85%, right? Was 85% within its bottom range, okay? So, and we exactly bottom right there, right? And on the monthly basis, back then, if you guys recall, I think like Pablo was talking about like the monthly MACD not being bullshit. Remember what we said. I said exactly the monthly MACD, you cannot rely on it, right? Back then, you couldn't rely on it because by the time you rely on it, right, price action could pump all the way up to your monthly 21 EMA, right? So sometimes some of these indicators are lagging indicator, right? You just have to be mindful of these these indicators, right, being so laggy, right? So now you can see like the monthly MACD is positive, but it is not giving us any sort of volatility, even though it pushed back up to the above the signal line. Now you got some positivity. However, price action been pretty boring over the last 7 months, since let's say since March, right? After we close above the monthly 21 EMA, we've been moving like sideways over the last 7 months, right? So since March, you got April, May, June, July, August, September, October. We've been around the 30K plus minus 8%, 10%, give or take, right? 28K plus minus 10%, right? So on a monthly basis, at the same time, we got our monthly 100 EMA right now somewhere around like a 18.6, right? So if for whatever reason on the macro level BTC breaks below the 23K area, we do have two macro supports, right? The first one going to be the monthly 100 EMA, right? And the second one going to be the monthly 100 SMA. And if you recall back then, when we were dropping back in 2022, we discussed it. First support, right? Monthly 100 EMA. We talk about it. And as soon as we hit the monthly 100 EMA, I said, guys, hey, we at the monthly 100 EMA, right? We never retested it. So it is most likely going to be a strong support, right? If we break it, yes, we could have basically dumped all the way down to the monthly 100 SMA. But these are monthly moving averages. So it generally, it takes like a long time to break these moving averages and all that good stuff, right? So the quarterly 21 on the quarterly time frame, quarterly 21. On the monthly time frame, we got our monthly 100 EMA and monthly 100 SMA. But the lower you go, right, the lesser the probability, right, to retest those prices. So the higher probability is like the quarterly 21. If we break the quarterly 21, we got the monthly 100 EMA. And if we get any price action below the monthly 100 EMA, we do have our monthly 100 SMA. As of now, around like a 15.5. If you're extremely bearish, you can wait for it, right? But, the chance of staying around those lows are very slim, okay? Even back in 2022, we did not spend any time around this area. If you look back, okay, we did not spend any time around like a 16K area, right? So just about like a month, and then we push back up, and you can see how strong the push was, right? Right there, the first month of January, we pumped like the first month of January. The first month of 2023, you can see like we pumped 40%. And what I said back then, it is a strong sign. Early stage of the bull market. I did not expect BTC to go like to all-time high and 100K and all that good stuff. But we were expecting BTC to be bullish, right? At least, right? Within the next the following let's say 3 to 4 months after that. And we say May, June, we could start to be topping out. And we actually get our top formation started like in April, right? Yes, we did create some highs right here, but very insignificant, right? So something to keep in mind on the monthly basis. And in terms of wave analysis, if we just switch our topic slightly from these indicators, right, and directional move, and talk about like Elliott wave. In terms of Elliott wave, what we've been saying was we're going to get our wave one. Our wave one could be anywhere between 50% to 0.618 retracement, right? Somewhere around the monthly 21 EMA, or even up to like a 40K. And we're going to get our wave two. The wave two, once again, we don't know how the wave two will look like. Just like what happened right here, on the downside from like a 70k down to a 16k area. We did not know, right, BTC was going to basically make a 5-way structure. We just followed the trend. So as of now, we don't know what type of a structure we're going to get in this area, right? So we don't know. But one thing we know for sure in terms of direction, right? We do have our 50% to 0.618 around like a 22k, right? Down to 20k area. If we get a deeper retracement, we got 0.786 to 0.618, 0.786 to a 0.888 at, let's say 18k to a 17k area, right? But the main region based on Elliott wave, right? We already talked about the indicators, right? And all that good stuff. But based on Elliott wave and Fibonacci's, right? 50% pullback down to a 0.618 fib, right? 22, right? Down to like a 20k area. That's going to be the primary support, which basically cover the quarterly 21 EMA, which is like 23k plus minus 10%. Okay, 10% below 23, Leroy, you get like 20k give or take, right? So if we get an exaggerated move, we still got our monthly 100 EMA and monthly 100 SMA in this range. So it covers both analysis, right? On a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, right? Your Elliott wave analysis and your Fibonacci's basically cover everything, okay? Cover both of those analysis basically, right? So that's what we could get, within the next like a few months, right? Depending on the volatility. So let me take a look at the chat room, right? Before we talk about the wave 3 and go through the halving analysis and all that good stuff. Okay, we got Jude Moonboy XRP 589. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We got a quiet cook in the house, cooking some ADA, flushing some USDT, and giving away some AGIX. So we got hash rate 8784 1356 in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in. All right, so I'm gonna try to make it a short macro update, short video macro update, right, Leroy? And so this way we can basically rewatch it at any given time down the road, right? I'm trying to give you the best analysis, guys, on the macro level, right? So if you've been following our channel long enough, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back and all that good stuff, but on the macro level, since the top, we've been pretty much spot on, okay? Yes, I don't expect myself to be 100% right, but at least when we talk about like the quarterly and monthly time frame, we we over 90% correct, okay? So now let's take a look at BTC in terms of halving, right? Before we go on a weekly basis and all that good stuff, right? In terms of halving, guys, I've been straightforward. I've been pretty much straightforward with the analysis. There is nothing to know regarding the BTC halving if you want to get in, right? The only thing you need to know is like getting 18 months before the halving, right? And get out 18 months after the halving. You don't care what the price, is doing. You be like, okay, when is the next halving? April, May 2024, right? I'm going to get in 18 months. 18 months before then is like what? November 2022, October, November 2022, right? Give or take. You get in. When are you supposed to get out? Get out 12 to 18 months. Okay, you can wait up to 18 months after the halving. So when is 18 months after April 2024? You're looking at like end of 2025. And you're going to cover the entire 4-year cycle in a very simple analysis. You're not going to have any headache. You don't worry about if BTC drops 10% or pump 100x. You just wait for the 18 months before halving and 18 months after the halving. It covers your 36 months. It covers your 36 months. All right. But if you sit there waiting for 3 to 5 years, you could be at break even. For instance, 5 years, right? If you take a look at BTC 5 years ago, right? Let's just do this, right? Okay, 5 years ago, right there. Okay, let's do this. I want to make it simple for Leroy, right? Okay, so if you take a look at BTC, right? Let's say, let's just say, yeah, 5 years is 60 months Leroy, right? So you be like at break even, right? Let's say you bought BTC back in this. I don't expect I don't expect, like, let's say Jude Moonboy to be buying BTC at 20K right here back then, right? Because but if you take a look at right here, you would have been at break even if you bought BTC right there. Okay, December 2017, right? All the way up to like December 2022. So the 3 to 5 years thing, right? You just have to time it properly. You cannot just like say, oh, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna wait for 5 years. Yes, you buy it in 2023, you could be at break even, right? in 2028, right? So you just have to be very, very cautious how you're looking at it. I'm not saying that's what you're gonna get, right? But you just have to be you just have to basically time it perfectly, right? And if you take a look at it in terms of altcoin, also some of these alt, you don't want to hold them like for 5 years. All right, I think like if you hold this alt for like a 12 to a 24 month, right, it is good enough to dump them into USDT and wait for them to drop 98%, 97%, or even 99%. Some of them dropping like right now 99%, right, before you can basically buy them back and then wait for the next cycle. They might not go 100x again, but they could give you like a nice 20 to a 40x, right, which is still pretty good, right? So do not expect those 100x all the time, right? So if you go back to the halving, right, the 18-month rule, it is nothing but buying BTC 18 months before the halving, right? For instance, right here, if you take a look at it, right, the halving in basically 2020, 18 months before, right, you buy BTC, right? Let's say you're looking for the 18-month rule, you would be buying right here November 2018, right? And you would be buying like near the bottom, within like, let's say 10-15% within the bottom, right? So, and if you go back to 2015 2016 area, right, you can see same thing, 17 months, right? So if you bought BTC right here anywhere around like December 2014, January 2015, you would be buying BTC near the bottom, exactly near the accumulation range, right? So if we track it right here, right, 17 months before the halving, what, November 2022, right? And we bottom exactly. And I was saying it way ahead of time. I was saying, guys, it is 18 months before the halving for BTC, right? You got to be accumulating. Litecoin 12 months before. I mean, Litecoin is 6 months. Okay, you gotta buy 6 to 7 months before the halving if you want to get that 100 not 100x Leroy, but 100% move, right? But if you go back to 20, let's say 2012, right, it was only 12 months, right? So if you take the average of 12, 17, right, you get about like 15 months. So within 15 months, it is still good to be buying BTC. So, and that would put you, let's say right here. Okay, so that would put you exactly at the bottom. Because if you bought BTC, let's say back in January 2023, actually, right, this year, if you bought BTC at 16K, you're buying BTC at the bottom, which is basically what? The average of 12 plus 17 plus, 17, right there. Okay. So hopefully it makes sense, right? So based on the 4-year cycle, we're like, we like 95% within the bottom, right? And all that good stuff. Yeah, so thanks a lot. Hash rate 80, 87, 84, 13, 56. Yes, 5 is 5 is 1 after 4 and 1 before 6, right? So in case he doesn't have his calculator. By the way, Leroy is here, right? So let me take a look at the chat room to see if you have any question before we go down to the weekly time frame. All right. So we don't have any question regarding the BTC macro view. So I guess everyone understands what's going on, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a weekly basis, right? So on the weekly, we talk about everything, okay? We talk about all these divergences and all that good stuff, right? But we just have to go back really quickly to take a look at something very interesting, right? Which is the weekly MACD crossing positive, right? So you're gonna be like, why are we talking about the weekly MACD crossing positive? That's like over a year ago, right? So, but it is important because if you take a look at it, if you take a look at what happened right here, it is quite similar to what we're creating right there, okay? So back then we did have our wave 3 and 5 creating some high highs, right? And our MACD was creating what? Lower highs right there. What happened next? We got a correction near our double bottom, creating another double top, double bottom, right? So now if you take a look at it, what's going on right there, you might not be able to see it clearly, right, on the weekly basis. I'm not saying it will play out exactly like that, right? But we do have some it does have a it does have some similarities, right? So you take a look at it on a 3D basis, right? What do we have right here? It is a what? A divergence, right? Similar to a 63 and 70K. And what are we creating right here? Another correction, another flat correction right there, right? Okay. Even though it is on the 3D, the pattern, it is the same, okay? So, and what are we creating? Creating on our 3D MACD, a bullish crossover, okay? Just like what we had on the weekly basis, right there, that bullish crossover with the, the flat correction right there. You take a look at our RSI, right? Following the same trend line. You can see the trend line right here. That's the same trend line we're getting on the 3D also. So everything is just saying like, hey, you're repeating the same pattern, right? You had back in 2022. Okay, so what could we be expecting, right, over the next like few weeks? Okay, we could say, hey, if everything going to play out nicely or perfectly for the bears, right, they could strike down, okay, meaning like they could be retesting what 50% to 0.618, just like what we had right here, coming back down and retest what 50% pullback, okay, 50% pullback on the macro level. So if you do a swing low, the swing high, you can see like we dump all the way down to a 50% pullback. If you want to be more accurate, you take the COVID lows, right there, just about like a 4,000 to down to like a 3,900 range, right? We retested like a 50% pullback. So if we go ahead and take a look at it on a lower degree, right, 50% pullback to 0.618, swing low to swing high, bang, right there, 22 to 20K area. Okay, however, we also have to be mindful, okay, this pattern could be invalidated, right, if we take out 30.3, because back then right here we never took out the 52k area. Okay, and if you recall back then 52, we were calling for what? A short at 52. Right, 51, 52k. We said we're going to drop down to what? To where? Our monthly 21 EMA, which is basically our weekly 100 EMA right here, and we could not break it. That was like we retested it after the when Russia basically invaded Ukraine, right? When the war started, basically, that's when we retested it right here. And I remember it vividly. I think that was a Wednesday, something like that. We retested it, and then price action bounced right back up. And I recall Moonboy was saying like, "Hey, we're going down to going down to 5K and all that good stuff." And I was like, "Moonboy, just calm down, okay?" All right, so we'll see how it how it will play out over the next like a few weeks, right? The divergence, it is still there. Price action is facing a massive resistance on a weekly basis, not breaking the trend line resistance. And sometimes I don't like these trend line, not like I don't like them because I don't like to trade them. What I mean is like, if you're getting a trend line resistance, right, just like that, with some resistances like that, right, price action can all of a sudden just dump, rapidly. Okay, so just like what happened right here, you got your trend line resistance, right, and at the same time, price action started to create some lower highs, right, and then all of a sudden you just dump rapidly after your correction. That's exactly what happened right there. Okay, trend line resistance, lower highs, just dump after the correction right here. Okay, but it could be easily invalidated if bulls take out the 30.3. They could create a triple top. At least they could get the triple top right there, something like that, right? We could get that move. But let's see if BTC will be able to stay above the weekly 21 EMA over the next like over the next few weeks. Okay, the other pattern you could anticipate on a weekly basis, we talked about it back in June. If you guys recall, I think we went live back in June. I was saying like this pattern, do not basically invalidate it, because it could be a wedge pattern at the same time, right? We could get a wedge pattern all the way down to a 50% pullback if price action decide to go slow. We could get this move basically to I'm not saying it will, but it is something like you just have to keep in mind. That way you're not expecting like a rapid pump to like a 50k, 100k, and at the same time you're not expecting a rapid dump to like a 10k, 5k, whatever you're waiting. Okay, I'm not waiting for 10k. Okay, so but just in case, right? So but it is up to you to basically make your own decision, right, based on the analysis. So if you're extremely bullish, you know exactly what to look for. If you're extremely bearish, you know what to look for. But really, it is not the time to be extremely bearish on the macro. It is time to be accumulating BTC. Anything under 28k, 27k, 26k, all the way down to 23k, it is just accumulation, right? But if you're short-term trading, you might be paying attention to these little details and all that good stuff, right? But in my own opinion, and based on my analysis, based on what I've been seeing over the last few months, few years, right, BTC has bottomed. Okay, this is nothing but our wave 1 on the macro scale. We just need to get our wave 2, right? It could even be 25k, we don't know, right? And looking for our wave 3 later on, in wave 4 and wave 5 potentially. I'm not saying it'll look like that, but we could potentially get another 5 wave, just like what we had right here back in 2018, right, up to 2021. Okay, the next one probably not going to be as smooth, right, as the 2018 to a 2021 or the smooth one we had right here. Okay, so I think it'll be choppy, depending on how deep wave 2 going to retrace, right? right? It could be very, very choppy. Okay, even wave 4 right here could also be very, very choppy, where we're going to get either a double top or a truncated fifth wave. So I don't think we will get our fifth wave will be something like that because of the diminishing return, right? But we'll see, okay, how it'll go within the next like a few months, right? And at any given time, right, if we take out 32K, that could invalidate, right, the potential retracement down to the quarterly 21. So let's say we do not retest the quarterly 21 within the next 3 months, and by January 2024, right, we above let's say we above 33K, the likelihood of retesting later on the quarterly 21 will be very low. Okay, I'm not saying it won't, right, but it will be low. I know some people are expecting like BTC to give us this dump, but I don't know. This dump, I called it, right? I called the entire trend right here from like a 14K all the way down to like 4K area, 5K area. However, I'm not expecting BTC to repeat the same pattern like that. If it does, great. It'll be good for all of us, right? If it don't, right, we just suck it up and basically stay bullish, right? So let's see. I think I covered everything right now. Let's talk about it again on the 3D. So I think we covered everything on a 3D basis, right? So let's take a look at it on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, right? So if we take a look at BTC on a daily basis, I already talked about the flat correction, right? But it looks better on the daily, right, down to the 12-hour basis. As you can see right here, what I was expecting, I said it in my premium group, right? We could either get a triangular formation like that, or we could get a flat correction like that. So I said it like 2 weeks ago, okay, when BTC was around like a 27, I think like 27.3 and some change, right? So we ended up printing both patterns, right? So as you can see, we started with a triangular formation like that, right? So started with the triangular formation, and everyone will be like, we're going to get our 1-to-1 extension, something like that, right? And they're going to be like, okay, we're going up to like let's say 29.7. That's possible, okay? However, we are still creating what? A flat correction. Just like the flat correction we had right here after our double top right there. Okay, so what are we doing right now? A flat correction after the double top. Okay, it may not play out exactly the same, right? But we'll see. However, if we take out once again 30.3, it will definitely invalidate that scenario, and BTC could at least get this triple top right here. Okay, it could get this triple top. All right, so what to look for within the next like a few days, right, is like watch the RSI, right, to break the excuse me watch the RSI to break the trend line resistance, right? As long as we above the trend line resistance, right, it could stay bullish in this range. Okay, it could stay bullish in this range. Even though it is a flat correction, you need your MACD on a 12-hour basis up to the daily basis based on this pattern alone, right, to break to go negative. Okay, your MACD will need to go negative, and at the same time your price action will need to basically your RSI will need to break the trend line support. Okay, not resistance but the trend line support later. Okay, so we'll see how it goes over the next like a few weeks. Okay, so if you're bullish, right, you could also be doing a swing high to swing low. We got 0.618 somewhere around like a 28.9, which is going to be a strong resistance, and at the same time you got 0.786 up to 30.149. Okay, so just in case we do get a retracement, instead of the flat, we get the retracement. So this entire range is going to be a nice overhead resistance for the bears, right? And the primary resistance, once again, just about like a 28k, it is the primary resistance. However, if it breaks it, this level is going to be a a strong level of resistance on a low degree. Okay, it won't make a big difference, once again, on the macro scale if you're waiting for the next 18 months, right? I wouldn't basically be recommending to sell in this range, right, if you are waiting for the 4-year cycle to finish, right? So when everyone will be waiting for 500k, you'll be like, I was buying at, I was buying under 28k, right? So right now we're at 150, 180. I'm not waiting for 500. I'm out. Okay. All right. Let's see. So now let's go ahead and take a look at total 2. We got 45 minutes already. I'm just going to cover total 2. So total 2 will basically cover the entire alt, including Ether. So for the total 2, it is also time to be bullish. Okay, I'm just going to repeat it for total 2. Altcoins, they tend to bottom 24 months after the initial bull market peak. Okay, or you could say like altcoins, they tend to bottom 12 months after the BTC first bottom. So what does it mean? Both statements are the same. Okay, it's just different way of saying it for Leroy, right? So for instance, right here, the bull market peak was in November 2021, right? So 24 months after the bull market peak, you're looking at like November, December, right? 2023. Okay, just like what happened right here in 2018, right? We bottom right there. The first bottom was like, December 2018, and you got your 24-month bottom, like let's say January 2020, right? But we got our final bottom a couple months later. You see what I'm saying? You got your first bottom right here, 12 months. That was when BTC first bottom also, right? And you got your second bottom just about like a 24, 26 months later, right? So even if we extend it to 26 months, right, it'll take us like to January 2024. So altcoin likely to bottom within the next like a 2 to 3 months, right? So in time, within 90%, 95%, most of these alt will likely to be bottoming, already bottom. Some of them already bottom. They're just going to be retesting their bottom. For instance, like Ether probably already bottomed. Right? I don't think Ether will drop down to like $200, $100 and all that good stuff. That's just my own analysis, not opinion, but that's my own analysis, right? I don't think we will be dropping down to $100, $200. Even last year, I wasn't waiting for like $100, $200 Ether. Okay, we were saying like it could drop to like a 650 to 550 back then. Okay, but after the double bottom and the bottom in time, right, it is going to be harder for Ether to drop down to those lows. Even if it does, it's not going to basically stay there like for an entire quarter or like an entire 6 months. Not likely. Okay, not likely, but it could. If it does, we just basically we'll just basically trade it, but the likelihood is not high. So I will not be spending any time on analyzing Ether retesting those lows. Okay, so for the total 2, support going to still be like 400 billion plus minus 10%, right? So we'll see how it goes within the next like a few few months. Okay, so and at the same time, the total 2 has a very nice pattern when you take a look at it on the monthly basis. Okay, so I said it in my premium few months ago. Okay, and I was like, the bull market hasn't begun yet. Okay, for the alt, right? Because you have to wait until basically your 21 EMA crosses above your 20 SMA. okay, just like what happened right here. And I was saying it long time ago. I was saying like, okay, it's not time to be bullish on alt. That was like over, over 6-7 months ago, or even last year. I can't remember exactly, but I was saying like it's not time to be bullish on alt. Okay, it is time to be patient, right, until we get our 21 EMA crossing above our 20 SMA. And you can see right here, right, I wasn't even paying attention to the indicator like on a day-to-day basis. I have not taken a look at the indicator for a while, but you can see coincidentally with the 24-month cycle of alt, right, meaning like alt bottoming 24 months after the initial bull market peak, you can see like these two indicators are about to cross positive. So it means that within the next 2 to 3 months we could get a clear signal of the trend. And if we get a positive crossover, it'll be a positive a positive news for the alt, meaning like we could be seeing a macro bull run for the following, let's say, 12 to 18 months, right? Just like what happened right here, right, in January 2020. And as you can see, we actually bottomed right after we got the crossover, because we got the crossover right here. I think the month of January. Actually, we bottomed right here in December 2019, right? So the move right there was just a correction in price, not a correction in time, because we did not get another negative crossover. So if we get this crossover right here within the next couple of months, even if we drop lower, it could just be a fake out. And you might be waiting for lower prices when you see like your favorite alt dropping like 50%. You might be like, I'm gonna wait for another 50%, but you might end up buying it like 500% higher. Okay, so something to bear in mind going into a Q4 or even Q1 2024. Okay, Q4 2023, Q1 2024. Leroy, okay, Q4 2023 and Q1 2024. Okay, hopefully it's clear, right? All right, guys. So it's already 52 minutes of live streaming. So I'm gonna take some questions. If you guys got any question regarding any alt, I'm gonna take a look at those alts, right? If not, we're just gonna suck it up and call it a day, and we'll go for another live stream sometime later. I don't know when. Excuse me. Okay, we got Crypto Moon Boy. Okay, I wanted to talk about Quant. Okay, I'm not holding any Quant. Okay, so if you if you're holding any Quant, don't be like, oh, Send Crypto says like Quant is going to like a $3,000 and all that good stuff, right? But I noticed something very important regarding Quant. Okay, it's been tracking BTC very closely, BTC, Ether, and BNB. So in BTC, Ether, and BNB, right? Let's say BTC was like, at some point, 70%, Ether at some point 20%, and BNB at some point 5% of the total market cap and all that good stuff, right? So these three these three coins, right? BTC, Ether, and BNB. If you can track him, it means like you're pretty strong, right? So if the fundamentals of Quant are going to stay strong over the next like a few years, it could perform very, very well, okay? Because we're expecting BTC to be doing pretty much very well over the next like a few years, and we're expecting Ether also to follow BTC, or even could outperform BTC from bottom to bottom, right? Or even bottom to top could outperform BTC. So we could expect at the same time Quant to be doing very well over the next like a few years, assuming like the fundamentals going to stay strong, because you never know with this alt, right? Okay, you can never say like one alt going to be the best one, just like Bitcoin Cash or like a Luna, you know, or like a Litecoin or anything, right? You can never assume anything, right? But if you take a look at the chart right here, what I'm saying, like, you know, the same pattern we had for Ether, right? We could get that pattern on Quant, okay? So if you take a look at the the correction we had right here, it seems like that's what Quant is creating right here, right? Between like a $40 up to like $180. And if you've been following me long enough back then, if you guys recall back in 2019, July 2019, when Ether was around like a 350. What I was saying, we're going to drop all the way down to $80 again to retest the bottom. Okay, so if Quant, for whatever reason, whatever FUD, okay, or FUDs, right, you receive, and Quant dump all the way down to $40, it could print its permanent bottom before the next bull run. Right, it could print its permanent bottom, right, and be looking for a next macro bull run. Right. Regarding the top, it could top out just like Ether. Ether back in 2021, right? It top out around like a 5,000 with a 50x move from the bottom, $100 to a, you know, basically $5,000. Right. So could we get a 50x move from Quant? Possibly. I'm not saying it will, okay, but it could be possible for Quant to give us a move all the way up to like a $2,000 or even higher, okay, or even go all the way up to like $5,000 potentially, right, depending on the overall market cap. As of now, the market cap of Quant, it is at 1 billion, so I'm not expecting 100 billion market cap, right, but I think anything around like a 35 to 50 billion market cap, right, going to be a good exit range, right? Because most alt cannot break that 100 billion market cap range. Even BNB couldn't break it back in back in 2021, could not stay above 100 billion. Dogecoin could not stay, you know, above 100 billion, okay? You take a look at ADA. I don't think ADA broke out above 100 billion. So I don't think Quant will need a breakout above 100 billion. I would say 35 to 50 billion market cap will be a nice exit point, right? So that'll take it somewhere around potentially somewhere around like, let's say 3,000, right, up to a 5,000 area. Okay, it could take it like from 3,000 to a 5,000 area. Okay, depending on the overall crypto market cap, right? It is just my personal analysis, okay? I'm not holding any Quant as of today, so I'm not trying to pump it or anything, okay? So, but it is something like I'm looking at if we retest the $40 area. And let's take a look at Quant QNT USD. We just took a look at it, right? QNT BTC. So let's take a look at Quant BTC now. So Quant BTC, it is printing a massive potential double bottom right here. So we got our double top. If you guys been watching us right long enough, last year back in October when Quant was around the 0.01 BTC, what I said, Quant is topping out. Quant is topping out, okay? So, and we exactly top out back in October 2022. So now we're trying to create our double bottom right here. Okay, so the double bottom will be somewhere around like 180,000 sats to 170,000 sats. That's going to be the support area. If we get the support, we could either create the triple top, or we could even basically get another another parabolic move. All right, unless we create the same pattern we had right here. Let's take a look at it right there. So right here you can see like we got the double top, double bottom, push back up, and then still retest the bottom. So could we get something like that where Quant push back up to you know, 0.01 BTC and still retest the bottom before going parabolic. That's still possible. But what I'm trying to say is like the range of 180,000 going to be a strong support for Quant, especially when we're expecting the BTC dominance to go higher, okay, above like a 50% or even like a 60% over the next like a, you know, over the next few months, right? So let's take a look at a XDZ. So Tezos, it is still holding around the so the same pattern we just talked about regarding Quant, right? It is actually the same pattern you're looking at right now on Tezos, right? Double top right here, double bottoming right there. Okay, so Tezos, it is still, let's do this right here. That's the Tezos before the breakdown, because it created the double top right here, double bottom, but still ended up coming down right to the 60s. Okay, so to XDZ. Okay, so you can see, even though it created the double top, double bottom right there, it's still basically dumped. The reason for that was like BTC was creating the same pattern and BTC broke down, so Tezos is breaking down. So it is still looking pretty good around like a 60 sats, 70 sats. However, if BTC is to retest its quarterly 21 EMA, we could potentially see Tezos coming back down to even like a 40 cents. Right, but still the 0.786 right here, it is a good range of accumulation because it is a macro support. 0.786, right? It is a macro support in terms of like a Fibonacci. Let's take a look at 0.888. Okay, 0.888 going to be around like a 47-50 cents, right? So I mean, which is you know, it's not even that deep compared to the current support at 65 to 70 cents, right? So, but as of now, I would just say DCA time. You got your divergence right here. You know, you like, let's say over 50% below your monthly 21 EMA. So that's pretty cheap. Whenever you see this alt 24 month after the initial bull market peak staying like 50% below their monthly 21 EMA, you got to know it is super cheap. Okay, so but we'll see how it goes, right? We could get this macro consolidation, right, and then get this move in the next bull run, right? Potentially. Let's take a look at the Tezos market cap. Thanks a lot 10K. As of now, it is just about like $500 million. Okay, that's super cheap. Okay, $500 million 24 months after the initial bull market peak. That's super. I mean, for Tezos, okay, it is super cheap. Okay, and back in, and we picked somewhere around like 7 billion, 8 billion. We could easily be like somewhere around like a 20 billion, right? Let's say 20 billion to 25 billion next bull market, right? So if we're going to stay above the top 50, top 20, we definitely got a chance to see Tezos around like a 20 to 30 billion. Do not expect Tezos to hit like 100 billion. If you see any alt around 100 billion market cap, a random alt, you just have to get out. Even 50 billion, right? Because the chance of breaking the factor from like, let's say 50 billion, right, to 100 billion is 2x, right? So if you bought them at the bottom, you're not going to be waiting for a 2x move, right? So let's take a look at CKB. So let's take a look at it on versus BTC. So okay, I mean, let's do it like that. I mean, it is under accumulation. I just don't see anything let's add our yeah, just have to be cautious, okay? So now we below the versus BTC, it is below the January 2021 lows, right? Okay, and it's been down since, like, 2020, even back in January 20 the entire 2020 it basically dumped. It only pumped because of the bull run. Okay, so you might be patient with it because it seems like it doesn't pump unless we get a bull run, right? So it pumped right here because BTC broke above all-time high, right? So BTC broke above all-time high back in November, December. 2 months later, it pumped against BTC. So don't be surprised, right? If you see this guy stay staying sideways for the next few months until BTC breaks above all-time high and you get your move, right? That's also possible. Okay. But the good news is, like, it is down, it is back to all-time low and all that good stuff. It is, it is under accumulation. But I don't see anything crazy as of now, right? So let's take a look at Solana. Solana has been pretty volatile, between $20 to $30. So on the monthly, it is starting to, get back to the resistance. So I guess with Solana, you just have to respect the support right here. If it retests the $10 range, right, you just have to respect that support, and could potentially be looking for the double top in the next bull run right here. I'm talking about on the macro. I just don't know how long it'll stay right here. But if Solana doesn't go dead, right, within the next like a few months, I don't think it will, but you already got your 5-way structure on the macro. You do a swing low to swing high, right? 50% pullback. And I talked about it back in like May 2022. I was saying like Solana, Solana, AVAX, AXS, they all got the same pattern, okay? And I was saying like all these guys are pretty bearish. And FTM back in like a January, okay? FTM, Matic, I was saying like all these coins, okay, are tapping out. If you go back and watch like my videos back in January 2022, I know most of you won't, right? But you could go back and verify it, right? Some of you already know because you watched them live, right? When I was saying Matic, FTM, back in January 2022, AXS, Solana, Luna, all of them, I was saying like, they tapping out, right? So right here, if you take a look at Solana, it is hitting resistance, was previous support right here. So in order to start the bull market, once again, like most of these alt, right, they're under accumulation, right? But the parabolic move will start once we break above the monthly 21 EMA. So if Solana can take out the monthly 21 EMA currently at $30, and stay there for a couple of months, right, we could see some parabolicness back up to like the $200, $300 range, right? So I'm not saying like it will go parabolic all the way up to 2000, but it has a pretty good chance if it stays around for the next bull run to get the double top at least, right? Or at least a 0.786 retracement, right? Because this pattern, right, you can see it like in multiple alt, like let's say right here, decred, right? You go back to 2018, created a nice parabolic move, right? What happened right here? A double top, double bottom, just like BTC, capitulated down, pushed back up to the monthly 21, you know, and retested the lows right here. That's the same pattern BTC is actually creating right here. If you take a look at you know, decred, right? And I said it a long time ago, even before we started to create this pattern, I was saying like decred, you know, already gave us the blueprint. We could potentially see something like that. And what happened at the top? We just created a double top, right? Retested the top right here, 150. This guy picked somewhere around like a 240, something like that, right? But on a macro level, it is, you know, it is a double top. So, you know, now we're getting a double top, double bottom. If the bottom right here holds, right, we could see another move like that. So if you go to Solana USD again, we could see something like that. Okay, we could see a parabolic move, and if the resistance right here is weak enough, we could break out much higher. Okay, and volume is also decreasing, right? Price is decreasing. That's the good news. Right, so I think Solana, this range of $20 to $10 range is a good accumulation range. If it goes lower, you got your 0.618 at $6, $7 range. Okay, which is at the same time your wave one resistance right here. So it could become what? A support, just like your wave 4 is now acting as a resistance. Right, but it is a nice pattern. If you take a look at AXS, same exact pattern, nice parabolic move coming down smoothly, just like BTC also in 2017, right? From like a $200 to a you know, to 20K, right? A smooth parabolic move, right? And then came down smoothly also. So we could definitely get the double top within the next like a few months. The volume is extremely low, price is decreasing, volume is decreasing, you know, beautiful pattern. Okay, so AXS, one of those coins, I'm not recommending it. I'm not saying to buy it or to dump it, but I'm saying like the pattern looks good. Okay, if it is going to be around, it could create a double top, right? Take a look at AVAX. Same exact pattern, parabolic move, parabolic dump. Okay, so holding strongly at the previous resistance, now acting as support, right? If we can find the bottom within the next 2 to 4 months, you know, it could basically look to challenge the all-time high area. I know most alt will not break the all-time high. That's why I'm not saying like, hey, it'll basically break all-time high. Okay, most alt won't break their all-time high, their previous all-time high, but they could at least retrace like within like, you know, 80%, 90%. Some of them will break it, right? Some of them will break their previous all-time high, right? Or most of them. Oh, Jude is Jude is a QNT moon boy. Okay, let's take a look at ADA. So ADA is in a similar pattern. As you can see, ADA, I just talked about this. I just talked about this pattern, right? You can see like ADA in 2018, right? 2017, parabolic move, just like Solana, you know, AVAX, AXS, SAND, GRT, you name it, right? Parabolic move, another parabolic move to the downside to retest the bottom. Okay, 98% down, right? 99 actually, okay, because this guy pumped from let's say 1 cent. Let's just say 1 cent to $1 and then dump down to 1 cent, right? You can see what happened right here. It is clearly a double top. It doesn't matter what you call it. Yes, we pumped to a $3. Right here I was saying that we're gonna pump to $3 actually, right? So 88, do not be surprised, right, if it does something like that. Just not. breaking extensively above a $3 range. So I wouldn't be bullish on ADA. If you're bullish right here, make sure to be bearish right there. Okay, as of now, it is starting to look good in time, meaning like, it's like 2 months before the 24-month cycle ends, right? So, and at the same time, it'll be like 3 months before the halving. So you want to be, I'm not recommending to buy. All I'm saying, like 3 months before the halving, 3 to 4 months before the halving, or even 2 to 4 months before the halving, you got to be ready to be accumulating alt. Okay, because most of them will be like still 95, 97, 98% down. Okay, some of them will be at least 90% down. Right? So let's take a look at it in terms of fibs. It retraced down to 50% pullback, which is pretty good. Last bear market, 24 months after the bull market, it dumped down to a all-time low. This time, 24 months, we only dumped down like, let's say 50%. So, which is pretty good, right? So anything below the 50% pullback could be just a wick, or it could just be a fake out, right? As of now, based on the 4-year cycle. Okay, let's take a look at KAS, Casper. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I don't know what to tell you with this guy. It is just pumping, right? On a monthly basis. On the weekly, I mean, you got a divergence right there. So you got your divergence right there. So it is time to be very, very cautious. Okay, regarding KSPA Casper. And Saka already pumped, nearly like 30,000, okay, 300x, okay, within the last 18 months, right? So I don't know what to tell you, okay. Beside the divergence right here, you could start to look for some fib supports, right? The 382 going to be somewhere around like a 0.007. .007 right there. Okay, so that's going to be the first support. We'll see, how it goes. Or you could potentially get a this move right there. Okay, right here. So just watch it around like a 0.015 first, right, to see if it is going to consolidate. If it consolidates right here without breaking out again, it is likely to dump down to the 382. So first support right around like 0.015. Your secondary support, right, could be somewhere around like a 0.007. And at the same time, watch your divergence, okay? It will need to break this trend line resistance down the road, just in case it does create something like that. Okay, I'm not saying it will be like that, right? If the fundamentals are good, right, it might not break below 0.015. It could just continue its breakout from this point and go up high. All right, guys, I'm just gonna call it a day. It is 1 hour 20, almost 1 hour 20 minutes, right? So be safe out there. Regarding BTC, bull market is already in, started since like November 2022. The likelihood to start a new macro wave to the downside from like a 30k down to 3k is very low. So I'm not gonna spend any time analyzing the probability or the possibility of retesting like 3k area, okay? Because based on the 4-year cycle, after the halving, regardless of the macroeconomic conditions, BTC tends to perform well. Back in the COVID, right, May 2020, right? In the middle of the COVID crisis, right? BTC did pretty well, right? But you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, oh, the Fed was pumping money and all that good stuff. But if you were waiting for BTC to dump like down to $100 back then, you might ended up buying around like 20k, 50k, and all that good stuff, right? So let's not try to be too bearish within the next two. Not financial advice, right? But I wouldn't try to be too bearish on BTC on the macro scale, right? For the next 6 months, it could be very, very dangerous, okay, to be bearish at this time, because you could miss the entire bull run, and you might be buying at the top. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, guys.